Welcome to B&C Car Reviews channel. Honda Sensing 360 will be standard on US models by 2030. Honda is adding a slew of new features to its driver assistance system known as Honda Sensing as part of a goal to eliminate fatal traffic collisions involving Honda by 2050. The upgraded system will be referred to as Honda Sensing 360. According to Honda, nearly 7 million vehicles on the road today are equipped with Honda Sensing and its twin Acura Watch. Honda's new plan would make the newer Sensing 360 technology standard on all models by 2030. The next generation of Honda Sensing 360 will begin appearing in China in 2024 and the US a year or more later. Honda is preparing for a major overhaul to its driver assist technology known as Honda Sensing. It first introduced the Honda Sensing technology to the US in 2014 by adding it to the 2015 CR-V and by giving the 2015 Acura TLX its own version called Acura Watch. Honda today announced a plan to expand the technology throughout the Honda ecosystem. The next generation of Sensing 360 will begin appearing in China in 2024 and in the US sometime in the second half of the decade, before becoming standard on all models by 2030. Watching for abnormal conditions. In April 2021, Honda's CEO Toshihiro Maiba announced a goal for Honda to achieve zero traffic collision fatalities involving Honda vehicles by 2050. The new Sensing 360 technology increases the sensor range surrounding the vehicle. It will also feature new tech which will detect abnormal conditions occurring to the driver or the vehicle's surroundings, kicking in when necessary to avoid a collision. The system will also be able to bring the vehicle to a stop if a driver is unresponsive to a takeover request when the car is in hands-free driving mode. Much like other automated systems, if the driver does not respond to repeated warnings, the vehicle will flash its lights and honk while bringing itself to a halt in its lane. The company is also coming out with next-generation Sensing Elite technology, which will use artificial intelligence, AI, for hands-free driving and such tasks as automatic parking or getting the car out of a home garage. Honda has not given any details on the release of the upgraded Sensing Elite but has said that the AI grows and learns from experiences to improve over time. Tested, 2022 Mercedes-Benz EQB 350 offers modern tech in a familiar package. Science fiction fans divide stories into hard sci-fi and soft sci-fi, a blurred line that Lightspeed magazine might attempt to define, but we're sticking to cars. We bring it up only to suggest that electric vehicles might benefit from a similar subcategorization. For the hard sci-fi fans, those detail-hungry, all-in adopters, we have tech and trick-heavy machines like the Rivian R1S, Lucid Air, and Mercedes-Benz EQS sedan. For those just dipping in, unwilling to learn a whole new language for the commute to work, there are the soft EVs, and here we find the Mercedes-Benz EQB 350, an electric SUV so traditional in feel that one might drive it for days and never realize there wasn't simply a quiet gas power plant under the hood. One of the reasons the EQB seems familiar is that it's based on the GLB, Benz's turbocharged four-cylinder small SUV. The EQB dresses a bit hipper, with elongated LED headlights, blue highlighted 19-inch wheels, and a glossy black panel in place of a grille, but it shares the GLB's squared-off rear and upright profile. More importantly, at least to those made uneasy by the all-screen future proposed by many EV designers, the EQB interior offers plenty of hard buttons to go along with its digital displays and center touchscreen. Highs, commodious interior, minimally challenging user interface, quiet underway. The base EQB 300 uses two motors producing 225 horsepower and 288 pound-feet of torque. We spent time in the higher-powered EQB 350, which ups the output to 288 horses and 384 pound-feet. Both come standard with all-wheel drive, a 400-volt architecture, and a 66.5 kilowatt-hour battery that can recharge from 10% to 80% in about half an hour at a DC fast-charging station. Mercedes says the 350 offers 227 miles of range, whereas the 300 can go about 15 miles farther. This small SUV is unsurprisingly not a rock star in terms of acceleration. In our testing, it hit 60 miles per hour in 5.4 seconds, which is a reasonable result for this segment and 0.2 seconds ahead of the Audi Q4 e-tron. Put the accelerator down for a pass at freeway speeds, and the EQB will hustle from 50 to 70 miles per hour in 3.6 seconds, against the Q4's 3.3 seconds. Unless you live by a famously difficult merge point, you won't be pained by the EQB 350's level of performance. The 2023 Honda Civic Type R shares our faith. Are you a true believer? Do you understand what summer tires can do for you, why a sunroof hurts performance, and that speed limits are just a starting point for negotiations? Do you feel persecuted by law enforcement for your beliefs? Well, Honda just built a car for you in the new 2023 Civic Type R. Go forth, spread the gospel of compact performance, and live by the Type R's code of conduct. Thou shalt not understeer. This commandment is impossible for a front-wheel drive car to follow, or so we thought. And yet, this 11th generation Civic follows the directive from on high despite its 315 horsepower turbocharged 2.0-liter inline-4 hanging ahead of the front axle and 61.4% of its weight on its nose. On the street, front-end grip seems inexhaustible as the Type R ducks left and right, forcing you into the seat bolsters. Go ahead and dive into an Apex, because the steering is a mere 2.1 turns lock to lock and the Type R slips in without any drama. Corner exits, which usually require the patience of Job in a front-wheel drive car, are masterfully orchestrated by the Type R's limited slip differential. That unit, coupled with a very crafty anti-torque steer front strut, puts the engine's power to the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires and allows you to empty the 2.0 liters magazine without widening the cornering line. Next corner. Try again. No understeer, just more exit speed. As if some invisible string is holding the car, keeping it from leaving the road. It makes no sense that a front driver can do this, so let's just add it to the list of things that don't make sense in 2022. 2. Thou shalt not hook up. Not in the carnal sense, go crazy there. Here, it's hooking up as in launching hard from a stop. Boost arrives after a beat or two, but the torque surge at about 3,000 RPM, 310 pound-feet, available from 2,600 to 4,000 RPM, will have you on the phone to tire rack. Turn the wheel slightly while hitting the gas in first and the front end eagerly hunts for the ditch or the oncoming lane as the differential tries to make the most of available grip. The solution is to keep the wheels pointed straight in first. Get it right and you'll move all 3,183 pounds of Civic to 60 in 4.9 seconds, with the quarter falling in 13.5 seconds at 106 miles per hour. 3. Thou shalt not miss a shift. Honda's manual gearboxes are special. Light, direct, precise, and a joy to operate, the Type R's mostly carries over from its predecessor and has the same tight throws and positive action. In more than 500 miles of abusively fast shifts, we never heard a crunch from the synchros as we upshifted just shy of the 7,000 RPM red line. Nor did we flub any downshifts. A lighter flywheel makes the throttle slightly more alert than before, and a mere tap of the right pedal spins up the engine to match revs on downshifts. For those who want Honda to do it, there's a retuned automatic rev matching program. It technically works but could be quicker to respond, something more noticeable on the track than on the street. 4. Thou shalt not make fake vents. Gone are the old Type R's fake vents and bodywork creases to nowhere. Function wins out over form in this round. Vents in the front bumper direct more cooling to the 13.8-inch front rotors, which are unchanged from the previous Type R. Hit the brakes hard at 70 miles per hour and you'll be able to get out and walk 153 feet later. Stopping from 100 miles per hour takes just 308 feet. Revisions to the brake booster reportedly improve feel, but the pedal doesn't seem any different. Real vents work. the only fade you'll find in a Type R is in the driver's hairstyle. V, remember the commute and keep it holy. Beneath the fender flares, 3.5-inch wider front and 1.9-inch wider rear tracks, 9.5-inch wide wheels, real hood vents, 3 exhaust tips, and 0.3-inch lower body lies a Civic Sport hatchback. Interior design and quality take a huge leap in this generation. Uncluttered and functional, the instrument panel looks expensive. The driver can select from 2 gauge clusters. The R gauges have a non-linear tachometer that reminded a few of us of the legendary S2000s. Above the HVAC controls is a 9.0-inch touchscreen that works quickly and intuitively and has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. A big part of respecting the drive to work is in the ride quality. Left in comfort, the adaptive dampers are docile. Sharp impacts reverberate through the cabin, but the Type R sops up smaller hits. Switch to Sport or Mode to ruin the ride with no real handling benefit. If you've spent more than 50% of your life in the last century, cabin ambience will begin to annoy you in about 20 minutes. Freeway commuters will find 73 decibels of wind, engine, and road noise. At least rear seat passengers can hear conversations happening in the front, something that wasn't true at 70 miles per hour in the last Type R. 6. Honor thy family. Commonality with the regular Civic gives the Type R excellent packaging and practicality. Civic Sport hatchbacks now have 99 cubic feet of passenger space and 25 cubic feet of cargo room, and so does the Type R. In the eyes of the EPA, this is a large car. Head to Costco and don't be afraid to buy a second 30-roll pack. For even more hauling ability, fold the rear seats and take home that 8-drawer dresser you spotted on Facebook Marketplace. None of the Civic's practicality is affected here. Sure, it has a blood-red carpet and front seats with big lateral bolsters that might lead to a little groaning when you climb out, but it's a Civic nonetheless. In back, the Civic's 107.7-inch wheelbase helps add 1.4 inches of legroom and makes the 60/40 split bench as uber-friendly here as in the 158-horsepower base version. One drawback of sharing so much with a half-as-powerful sibling is that Honda didn't enlarge the fuel tank for the Type R, so drive it as intended and you'll be lucky to get more than 250 miles from the 12.4-gallon tank. 7. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's Toyota GR Corolla. Eyes are unlikely to wander since the new Type R looks great on its 19-inch wheels and lowered stance. We aren't sure what happened with the previous Type R, but one of our theories is that an art student's mixed media sculpture got switched for the 10th Gen Civic design proposal and the student's project went into production. The real Civic design? It received an A in Applied Mixed Media 401. 8. Thou shalt not overheat. Lapping the last-gen Type R on the track multiple times led to heat-related issues that sent the powertrain into limp mode. To solve that problem, the Type R now has a 48% larger grille opening that directs air into a larger radiator and a 10-row intercooler, up from 9. You'll have to wait a bit for its lightning lap results, but we experienced zero thermal issues with the Type R. 9. Thou shalt not overpay. What dealers will overcharge for the Type R remains to be seen, but Honda is setting the price at $43,990, and the only factory extras are paint colors and forged alloy wheels. Of course, dealers will push a seemingly endless selection of accessories. Skip them all except maybe the $1,780 Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2-track tires. X. Thou shalt not bear false enthusiasm. Shoppers looking to pose as car-loving enthusiasts won't want to own this one. It comes only with a manual transmission, you can't get leather seats, and Honda won't sell you a sunroof. The Type R does have all the collision avoidance nannies the unskilled and NHTSA crave, but its buyers aren't the type who cause accidents by texting in traffic. This is a car designed, tuned, and built for the true believers. Counterpoints. It's called a spoiler because it spoils the look of the car, only, On the Type R, it looks great, a fun surprise, an embroidered tiger on the back of a jean jacket. I like the previous model's raucous design, but some people prefer to drive a car that doesn't look like a 12-year-old doodled it on a math notebook. More important, while the sporty Civic has put on some work-appropriate attire, it's still an absolute party animal underneath. Ilana Sher. Speaking in Honda tongue feels like coughing up alphabet soup. You see, you've got your EP3S and your DC5S, but the B18C never came in those. They got the lowly K28-3 here in the US riding on an FL5 chassis. The newest CTR is far wilder than the sedan-only FE1 Civic C. That said, it won't take more than a spoonful of the improved 315 horsepower K20C1 to get your HR to spike. Austin Irwin. Not a hand-me-down, K? To get 9 more horsepower from the K20C1 engine, Honda made a number of improvements, including swapping from a 9 to a 10-channel air-to-air intercooler and reducing the turbocharger inertia by 14% while increasing the intake flow rate by 10% and the exhaust flow by 13%.